Hey everyone, welcome to the For Goodness Cakes channel. I'm your host, Mark Brown. Today we're going to be speaking with Bre, the owner of Bre Sessions Photography, located here in the Metro Atlanta area. Play that intro. I'm excited to be joined by Bre, the owner of Bre Sessions Photography. How you doing today, Bre?
I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, great. All right, so let's jump right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I was born in South Jersey. I grew up in South Florida.
Okay.
And then I ended up going to school in New York City. And then after being there for 7 years, ended up here in Georgia.
Awesome.
I've been here ever since. So
Awesome.
It's been about 16 years now.
Oh, wow.
And
Georgia Peach, officially.
I've officially converted,
Yes.
I think. I was a city girl for a long time.
Right.
I held on to that. But I do love Georgia. It's
Yeah.
a good mix of kind of the weather a little bit in the south and then still some of the city and arts and
Awesome.
stuff that we had in New York. So
Awesome.
it's a good happy medium and lots of pretty places to
You
take
got it.
pictures. So I like it here.
Awesome. All right, so can you tell us a little bit about how you got started with Bre Sessions Photography?
Sure. So I moved to New York actually to pursue acting.
Oh.
So my background is in theater, and I did that for about 12 years when I was younger, and then went to college for that. And then after I got sick of waiting tables, and realized that that wasn't necessarily going to be the thing I was going to make a living at for the rest of my life, I decided to pursue some of my other interests, and photography had always been something I was really passionate about and loved doing. So I started taking some continuing ed classes, and then eventually went back to school full-time at SCAD in Atlanta and studied design and art and photography there. So that's how I got back kind of in that direction professionally, and then I started assisting and second shooting with other photographers, and then slowly started taking on weddings and events.
Okay, great. So Bre, can you tell us a little bit about the products and services you offer at Bre Sessions Photography?
Sure. All of my wedding day coverage is two photographers. I think that's the best way to cover a wedding, so that we make sure we don't miss any key moments and that we can cover everything from multiple angles on a wedding day, because there's a lot going on.
Sure.
I have a lot of experience. I've been doing this for the last 9 years, so bring a lot of that to the table. But as far as our collections, they start around 8 hours and then go up depending on the event and what's needed and whether we're going to multiple places. And then all of our, we also offer engagement sessions, we offer bridal portrait sessions, and then of course we have albums, canvases, all sorts of wall art and things, depending on what the couple wants to do with their photos after the event.
Awesome.
We can customize that. We offer beautiful handmade albums that are made here in the U.S. and they can really be customized to fit their kind of color scheme or what their personality is, and design that myself. So it's a great way to kind of finish telling the story of the day, but putting it in a book form that you can have for the rest of your life. So it's a really beautiful way to have a keepsake at the end of the wedding.
Awesome. So can you tell us the benefits of hiring a professional photographer?
Well, I think there's a lot of benefits. I often say that everybody has an oven, but that does not make them a chef. And I think in this world where everybody has a cell phone, it doesn't mean they're a photographer or a DSLR or any camera. It's not the same.
Sure.
And so I think especially on a day like your wedding, I really consider myself a historian in a lot of ways. And as somebody who's personally been married for 15 years, you want to have images that you can go back to that are going to not just show you who was there, but really document those relationships that are important to you. It's one of the few times in your life where you have people, traveling sometimes from all over the world to be a part of your day, and I know for our family on my wedding, we had a picture of our extended family, and my grandmother had that picture up in her house until the day she died.
Oh.
And she treasured that photo because all the people she loved were in one place. And outside of maybe one other wedding after that, that doesn't happen. You want them to be done professionally. You want them to be lit well. You want them to be taken with high quality cameras and gears and lighting, and somebody that's going to have not just gear but backup gear. On a wedding day, a lens can break, a camera can fail you. So you really want to make sure you have a professional who has quality gear, backup gear, who knows how to handle it in case natural lighting doesn't cooperate, and maybe you need to bring in lighting. Maybe it's raining or the place is too dark, or all these different things that can happen. So you really want to use somebody who's trained and who's done a lot of weddings and knows how to handle whatever might come up on a wedding day. A lot can happen.
And I will tell you, I can attest to that because Bre did a photo shoot with us, and even makes us look professional as well too. A very good answer. So when does a newly engaged couple need to reach out to you as a photographer? And then secondly, what do they need to know or prepare prior to reaching out to you?
Well, it varies depending on the timeline, but generally somewhere between 9 months and a year out is a good range. Sometimes 6 months. It really depends on the photographer's availability, but the sooner they reach out, the more likely I am to have the day open. So the sooner the better, but it just depends on kind of their timeline and when they reach out, especially if it's in a key month, if it's spring or fall and some of those important dates, the sooner you do it, the better. Absolutely. So you make sure we have availability.
Absolutely.
And then what they need to know, there's really nothing you have to prepare. I think one thing to notice sometimes if you're looking at my work or somebody else's work is what are you attracted to?
Sure.
Do you really love dramatic posed images? Do you really like more natural light, outdoorsy stuff that feels maybe more candid, or do you really like something that's more posed? Do you prefer these kind of more candid moments that feel more documentary and are just real moments? So just kind of noticing when you are looking at photographers' work, what catches your eye.
Sure.
If you kind of have a sense of like, oh, well, this one stands out to me, then ask yourself, why? And that way, when we talk, I can have a sense of what's important to you.
Awesome.
So that's the main thing. The other thing that sometimes helps is an idea of how many hours of photography coverage you need. Sometimes that helps. We can also sometimes just book a basic collection and then add hours later if you realize you need a little more. But it gives you a good place to kind of start with what you need to book. And then also whether or not you are interested in doing an engagement session. Also, if albums are important to you. Those are some things to kind of think about. You don't have to know, but if you have an idea, hey, this is something I want to do. I want an engagement session. I might use pictures for a save the date, and I do want an album, but I don't know what I'm looking for.
Right.
Or, I know I need wedding photography coverage, but I don't know how many hours. Or we're going to travel all over, and we're going to be in, downtown Atlanta for this, but we might be up in Alpharetta for that, and in which case, we know you probably need a little longer.
Because you'll do more than just a wedding. You're trying to do the entire experience if they ask for it?
Yeah, I typically show up about an hour and a half before the bride's going to put on her dress.
Okay.
It's normally my kind of guesstimate about when, because you don't really want to show up so early that they don't have any hair and makeup done.
Okay, right.
That's normally not what you want pictures of.
So can you tell our followers, what is it that you're trying to accomplish through your photography?
Well, I think, especially with my background in theater, I always think of it really as a storytelling thing when I'm doing photography. You want to tell the story of the day. And so that's part of why I do get there when I do, is if I get there about an hour and a half before they're putting on their dress, I'm there for the entire story. You get to document the getting ready and the laughing and all the bridesmaids hanging out, having their mimosas or doing whatever they're doing, and all those little moments with the mom finishing up and helping getting ready, and all the way to mom watching, or dad watching them take their first dance, and watching them, get in the car and leave at the end of the night. So it's really about telling the story and not just what it looked like, but really how it felt, so that I want you to look back at your wedding images and to remember how excited you were, or how emotional you were, how, I look back at my wedding photos and I had like this Cheshire grin walking down the aisle.
Right.
But I love that because I look back at those photos and I'm like, yes, It's like I know exactly how I felt in that moment because of that photo, and I really want to do that for my clients, is to make sure that it helps remind them years later of what that day felt like. And
Awesome. So Bre, how can potential clients reach and follow you at Bre Sessions Photography?
I am at bresessions.com. It's BRE Sessions, SESSIONS, like a photo session.com. I'm also reachable at bresessions.com. You can also find me on Facebook under Bre Sessions Photography, and on Instagram, which is my favorite, Bre Sessions Photo.
Awesome. Great job. So once again, I'd like to thank my guest, Bre, the owner of Bre Sessions Photography. All of Bre Sessions Photography contact information will be in the link in the description below. In addition, you'll be able to get to Bre Sessions Photography's website on our website at forgoodnesscakes.net. So that'll do it for today's episode. Please smash the like button and subscribe to our channel. And remember, life is too short to skip cake. See you guys. Thanks very much, Bre.
Thank you.
All right, you ready? So you can. You okay?
What you
okay? You ready? All right, here we go. All right. Where are you from?
I was born in New Jersey.
Where at?
In South Florida. New Jersey, South Jersey.
Yeah, I'm from South Jersey as well.
Oh, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Mount Holly.
Okay, yeah. I went to Morristown Friends high school. I'm from Camden, New Jersey. Yeah. All right, here we go. A very good answer.
That was actually a great answer.
That was
I'm
a
sitting
great
here
answer.
going, man, I need to take more pictures.
I know, right? I just said a story. You know?
I know, right? You put it out there, and that changed everything.
I'm like, yeah, that's how you differentiate. I'm just
Yeah,
a
you
story.
do.
Okay, all right. Here we go. All right, you ready? All right. So, Bre, can you? All right, screw that up. All right, here we go. This is where I usually screw up. All right.
Good job.
That's a wrap. Well done.